The song Revolution came along pretty early for our community. Um, I found the need pretty early on to write songs for our community, mostly because whenever I do someone else's music, I tend to mess it up. And I just always put my own unique stamp on it, and people will hear it and say, that's not how that song goes. And so pretty early on, we began writing music for Mercy that was ours, and then no one could say, hey, it's not supposed to go that way. And Revolution was one of those early songs, and it came about for multiple reasons. One, I just felt a need to really express the gospel as we see it, as we preach it. In fact, if you've come to Mercy and visited, you've probably heard the song Revolution, because we feel that as much as any song that we sing, it really conveys very concisely what we believe, and it kind of hits the core of what we think is important that we as a community need to proclaim. And so it kind of serves as a creedal statement in a way for our community of what we believe the gospel is about. And it really is the fact that we believe the gospel is fundamentally revolutionary. God brings world revolution in mustard seeds. We believe that with all of our heart. And so we don't want to see the gospel toned down. We don't want to see it become too, we don't want to become too complacent or too comfortable. So we wanted that edge. And I think particularly preaching to a community and working with a community that had heard a lot of preaching, and a lot of preaching that was kind of hellfire brimstone, to be honest with you, and kind of directed directly at them, folks on the streets, and pretty much blame for their own situation, rather than looking at the larger picture and looking at some of the systemic things that are happening in our world and in our nation. And so the idea of proclaiming that the gospel is something revolutionary was something that we really thought was important. And so therefore, if you're going to sing about a revolution, it's got to have a little bit of edge to it, right? And I wanted it to have kind of this anthemic quality, but I also kind of wanted it to rock out a little bit, and kind of people hear it and say, that's a church song, kind of thing. That's a worship song. Yeah, you look at the old hymns are constantly proclaiming our faith and what we believe. And so, this is just kind of a hymn with a bit of a rock beat to it. And of course, make it fun, right? If you're going to talk about changing the world, very, very serious thing, then it ought to be kind of be fun too. So it's got the yeahs in it, right? And that enables anybody to sing along. And when we sing it, we say yeah, and the community sings back yeah. So if I say yeah, you say yeah. And when we say yeah, we put up our fist, right, as kind of that sign that yes, the gospel is revolution. But what kind of revolution is it? It's a revolution of love. It's not a revolution of violence. It's not a revolution of power over. It's not a revolution of coercion. It's a revolution of love. And love requires seeing human beings for who they truly are and the dignity that is inherent in each and every human being. There are too many stereotypes in our world, too many ways in which we classify, in which we other people and make them fundamentally different than ourselves. And so this song is just a call to see the radical dignity of every human being, and also just to kind of talk about it in very, very practical ways. What does love look like? Well, it looks like tools, not weapons. What does love look like? It looks like when people want to make you wise, choosing to be a fool. What does love look like? It looks like when you could be first, choosing to be last. It looks like setting a welcome table that you invite everyone to come to. It looks at vacant housing and has the imagination to say that could be housing for other people. That could be housing for folks who don't have housing. It means choosing love over fear. It means loving your enemies. It's hard. It's really, really hard work, but that's what that song is about. That's what it's designed. That's the heart behind it.